Hey guys, Kevin here. I've been playing with the idea of creating a new video on a challenge and basically bouncing around the €120 mark that I'm willing to spend on a new laptop. Now, I only usually use MacBooks. I was actually playing with the idea of buying like a cheap laptop, but a lot of it was just broken to like crap that I wouldn't have actually made much out of. And I know a lot of people are lucky out there; they're able to find normal PC laptops, but unfortunately, I'm not that lucky with that. But I know what I'm looking for when it comes to MacBooks. And when I was online, eBay's my usual haunt. I was able to find a actual deal, a decent deal actually, because these MacBooks generally go for about the 180 to €200 mark and around about hovering around there on eBay. So when I found this, I was kind of, I bought it straight away. So yeah, I bought this machine straight away, and there are some problems with it, and we're going to find that out once we receive the machine. As of now, what the seller reports is there's only 3 faulty keys. That generally points to me that there is liquid damage, and it's more likely to be liquid damage than, let's just say, a misaligned ribbon cable, but that's always a possibility as well. And the situation, or how the keys are situated, it would not surprise me if this is liquid damage. But I can fix liquid damage. I used to work with these machines a lot back in the day when I used to work with an Apple reseller, and I know these machines like muscle memory now. So disassembling, reassembling these is like second nature for me. And also, I've always loved this design of MacBook. It's this beautiful rounded white. It was very much so the iPod looking of the day. And yeah, I just absolutely love them. But one thing that did point out to me was it was one of very few that had a completely non-peeled off bottom case. So the bottom case is still attached to the bottom of the machine. So that's been either replaced very recently or it's beginning to peel. We'll find out once we get the machine, but I don't know if that's a fold right there, if you can see. But the bottom case seems to be intact on the bottom of the machine. Maybe the guy glued it back on. Looking at this, I don't see any like droplets or liquid damage on it. It does boot up apparently, and yes, it's with its 10.6.8, which was the last update for this machine, which is perfectly fine. And yeah, 2 gigs of RAM, probably the original hard drive, I'm guessing. Unless that's been upgraded recently, but I doubt this is going to be the case with something that's this cheap. And just pointing at the hard drive. So I put myself a challenge of €120 because I have to put the laptop into this as well, and I'm also counting postage in this challenge as well. So a lot of people, they don't count the postage, they only count the machine. So if I was to count just the parts themselves, I'd be under the €100 mark easy. But because I'm counting the postage in this, I'm going to say that I hit approximately 118 to €117 in this little project. So yeah, so we got pretty much €70 right here on this MacBook, the main bones of the project. Next we have a Verbatim SSD. Now Verbatim has been around for a long time. Doesn't mean they've been good, it just means they've been around for a while. And the reason why I picked this up was because it was a 250 or 240 gigabyte SSD for €30. And this is the type of SSD that I would trust in a laptop that I wasn't going to keep essential items in. So keep that in mind when the reason why I'm buying this. It's the cheapest 240 gig SSD I could find on eBay and pretty much anywhere. Verbatim, yeah, it's a well-known SSD brand, but they're not known to be very good. This is a SATA 3. If I remember correctly, the MacBook is SATA 2.0, but don't quote me on that. But same connector, same everything. It just won't be as fast as if it was on a SATA 3 connection. Pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I was debating on fitting a hard drive, a newer hard drive that I have here, but an SSD just sounds like a much more substantial upgrade. Next thing I purchased was RAM. I picked up 4 gigs of DDR3 1333. I'm pretty sure this machine only deals in 1066, but worst case scenario, it will just clock it down to 1066. It's not a big deal. I've done this before where I've put two 1333 sticks of RAM into a 1066 MacBook and it ran them as 1066. So that's not a big deal. This was the cheapest 4 gig stick I could find. The 1066 were actually dearer than this 1333 megahertz at the same amount. So that's the reason why I went for this instead. It's strange, but even though it's a higher clock speed, it's still cheaper. The reason why I bought one of these is because I already have a 4 gig stick here from a donor laptop. So that's not so I only need the one stick. So technically, drum roll, I've hit approximately 118 euros, under the 120 mark that I was hoping to stay under. So basically, we're going to wait for this machine to come, and once it arrives, we're going to inspect it, boot it, and see how that keyboard is working, and see if there's any stickiness to the keys. So I finally got my MacBook. It was in relatively good shape. It's unfortunately I forgot to record the unboxing. And basically I have pictures of the top case and I have pictures of the bottom case. The bottom case wasn't peeling, thankfully. It looked brand new from the bottom case. Unfortunately, I did find that the hinge cracks are still there. Looks like just the bottom rubber was replaced, or the bottom case was replaced on this MacBook. Besides that, after having a quick look over the machine, booting it up, it started to hang on the boot up, which it would just kind of stop at the start. So I ended up wiping the machine, reinstalling High Sierra, which is the highest this can get up to, and it started working fine after that. Very, very slowly, but fine. So we're currently working on the machine. I currently have it upside down, just to give you a bit of an idea of what we're looking at here. And what we're hoping for is somewhat of a boot screen. Now the reason why I have the machine upside down is so it makes it easier for me to jump between seeing if the machine boots up and seeing if there's any problems with keys. Currently it looks like we're having an issue with a blank screen. There we go. So we've after all booted in and there we go. So it's a good thing that my verbatim drive came in. Oh, we got something weird. This hard drive has been bollocks since getting the machine. So it might boot up. Maybe, no. So just turn this off. I have found out what was causing the keyboard issue. Just pop this off. And that is an ajar ribbon cable. So after pushing this in a bit better, all the keys work perfectly fine. Just kind of, yeah, just make sure everything's aligned correctly. So the keyboard works perfectly on this machine. The guy kind of caught me out. I thought I had two 1 gigs. It's actually just one 2 gig. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that down here for the moment until I get my other 4 gig. This is the 4 gig that I already had in my box of RAM, and I'm going to replace this. And now once this is replaced, this is actually the good version of the MacBook because it doesn't have this rubber insert right here. That MacBook with the rubber insert right here is such a pain in the ass. That stuff kind of falls apart, so it does. Recently I've found one that was literally falling to bits because of the rubber piece. And there's our hard drive. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is just quickly do an unboxing for our verbatim drive. So just pull everything out the bottom. And it's what you expect from a cheap rebranded SSD. To be honest, verbatim, they're more so known for their DVDs. Throw that crap over there. So we have, yeah, there we go. Verbatim SSD, and it is 240 gigs. So what I'm going to do is actually take the standoffs from the original hard drive. If I can find a bit, there it is. Ooh. This thing, because I love keeping those tabs on the SSDs. So remove that, remove that. So due to the current status of diseases or viruses, unfortunately I cannot, or I'm having a problem getting postage. So I believe this is going to be one of the few things that I'm going to get postage from. The stick of RAM came from China. And this video has been sitting here for well over a month. So I wanted to use this machine on the daily, but I've been holding off until that stick of RAM came in the mail, which it has not, by the way. So yes, it's going to have 6 gigs of RAM for the moment, which I'm kind of debating on taking that out of the challenge, which would bring the price down a wee bit. But as a non-received. So next thing, what I'm going to do is put it the right way around, stick that in, and see if this even installs. Let's see if I can get an installation working on this. I'm going to go for the last installation on this, which I got on the hard drive before it bollocksed out on me, which was High Sierra, actually. So fan is cleaned, I clean that out. The disk drive was giving me a bit of trouble actually. It wasn't taking discs, but I found that the screw from right here was actually inside the actual DVD slot. So basically I took it out, blew a bit of air into it, and it started reading discs again. But I have a little project for this DVD slot as well as other things. This battery is actually brand new, by the way. 53 cycles on it, pretty much. So it's practically brand new. You can get about 1,100 cycles on one of these batteries. Fan is clean, under the logic board is clean. I didn't video myself actually changing the thermal paste, but that is now changed as well. If you want me to go through the process of taking the logic board out and everything, I can do that for you. Just comments down the doobly-doo. And no missing parts on the logic board. It is perfect. Also, just the actual case, or this actual bottom case, is actually clean and brand new. As far as I can tell, it's from a different machine, because back in the day we used to put the serial number of the machine onto the bottom case, because if you have the original MacBook and it was peeling, it would have the serial number embossed right down here. But this was happening so much, Apple decided to send out all of these bottom cases without the serial number embossed on the bottom. So we were just literally buying these in as an Apple reseller and just selling these out to people as upgrades, or we were ordering in. We bought a ton of these. We would do about 20 or 40 of them a day, and we would order replacements on the client's behalf, so we'd always have stock there rolling in from Apple, and Apple would pay for it all the time. So not against Apple's rules, but not exactly the way they would like things to run. But the customer was happy, and that's all that really matters in the end of the day. Yeah, so everything perfect. Oh, one thing. So somebody has been tampering with this, and right here and right here, the cables were not routed correctly. The microphone wasn't working, so I'll just bring this closer to the camera. So as you may see here, somebody has broken the connector. I'm going to get some Kapton tape and I'm going to stick that down. It's currently working. Hopefully it's still working after me playing with this. I'm going to do the same for right here as well, because this also has a broken connector, and get some Kapton tape and put that in there. Last but not least, I guess might as well stick that in there. Yeah, because pulley, it's a pulley. And after that, we are going to close her up. And yep, not even a little bit of peel off this bottom case. It is nice and sealed. So when it comes to MacBook bottom cases, the way Apple would tell us to do it is to do it in a cross fashion of this method. Trust me, I remember doing this like muscle memory now, so it is. I know it doesn't really matter, but it's good to show off sometimes that you can still go by Apple's handbooks that they used to give out on the training information. There we go. And there was that crosshatch pattern to doing it. So with this, we still have the hinge cracks, but I'm more I was more worried about the bottom case peeling because that is so annoying than anything else. So I guess next thing is to give her a clean off and just wipe it down. There's a bit of dust and there's crap all over the screen, as you may see there. So I'm going to give her a bit of a clean down, and then I'm going to install Mac OS X High Sierra from my High Sierra USB stick. Back in a bit. Okay, so we are pretty much complete cleaning. We have completed cleaning the machine, and right now I have already done an installation. Actually, while I was doing the installation, I did notice one proper break in the machine, in the machine's top case. So right here at the you see it right there, that crack. So that was a lot worse. I've actually epoxied it back into place. It was actually hanging off, so it's not going anywhere anymore, but it still left a crack behind. And because the epoxy was a different color, I made sure that it wasn't noticeable. So the crack still shows, but it's pretty solid back on there. Besides that, this machine is looking great. So it is, to be honest. And it's back to the old Apple looking stuff. Got my iPod back in the day. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So iPod, you had your MacBook, your white iPod, and you had pretty much you were set for college. That was pretty much it. So I didn't yet receive the RAM. This video has been waiting a month to be done, and I doubt, because of the current situation that we are in, that I can actually wait around any longer for that stick of RAM. Keep in mind, I will be installing that in here. It will perform better than having a 2 gig and a 4 gig in there, 6 gigs of RAM. It just doesn't sit right with me, to be honest, because I'm losing out on, what was it called again? You will tell me in the comments. Threading? No. That's going to wreck my head. Yeah, so basically I will be, I've installed a clean version of the operating system on the machine. I have done a restore from that hard drive. So the hard drive that was originally in the machine, because I had a few things that I was testing on this machine when I got it. We'll be checking out these buttons. I can probably ruin this on you already. They do work. And we're going to turn it on. And believe it or not, the verbatim SSD is actually all right. It's actually very good. I can confirm that this is SATA 2.0, so sticking a SATA 3 SSD, you're not going to get the same performance from the SSD, but you are going to get, definitely, you're going to get what you're definitely going to get a bigger performance boost on an SSD. So here we go. We have the same icons as in my Mac Pro desktop, and same wallpaper. So, and it's turning on GOG for some reason. I don't even remember installing GOG. So there are a few. Yeah, look at that. So quick. Go away, GOG. Quit. So yeah, it's actually pretty quick for what it is right now. So that's strange. That shouldn't be 1333. That should be 1066. Why is that 1333? This is the late 2009 MacBook. So this is the 8 gig model. So 8 gigs actual. Yep, that's the right graphics card. Memory type 1066. This is kind of interesting. Why is this showing up? I did put a 1333 memory stick in there, but yeah, maybe we are running this at 1333. Maybe there was a firmware update on this. I'm very confused. Anyway, yeah, this is a very quick machine. Besides that, we have display. The display is at 1280 by 800. It's only 256 megabytes of RAM, but that was like Apple's standard for so long. At one stage, it was getting ridiculous. And there's our 4 gig and our 2 gig at 1333. That's so strange. Leave a comment down below if you've come across this before, because even the MacBook Pro 2008 that I owned back in the day, I put 1333 RAM in it and it clocked it straight down to the 1066. So that was a 15-inch MacBook Pro that I owned back in 2008ish, and that clocked down to 1066. So I'm just a little confused about that. So I didn't think it would do that. But yeah, perfectly working MacBook, and we can try some games out on this thing.
Our lifeboat airlocks to attach their boarding craft. We go out and they come in. Clever bastards.